Kirishima stood over the alley, peering down from his perch on top of one of the buildings. He'd been hunting for a while now, tailing someone as he hunted his own prey. From what Kirishima had found out, this guy was really messed up. He liked to play with his victims before killing them. Though the redhead liked killing just as much as the next villain and did a fair amount of playing in his own time, he didn't like to mix the two. Villains like this guy disgusted him, and to make things worse, he had dared to hunt on Kirishima's turf. Just the thought made him growl as he continued to watch. The lowlife had been tailing his own victim for a while. They were just a little further ahead down the alley. They had no idea about what was going on. It seemed like they were engrossed with jotting something down in what Kirishima presumed was a notebook. He rolled his eyes. Why did victims always have to be so clueless? It almost made the hunt too easy. Shaking his head, he returned his attention back to the trespasser. Well, now was as good a time as any. Besides the would-be victim, there was no one around to witness what he knew would be a fantastic kill. Almost a shame, really. With a sharp-toothed grin, Kirishima activated his quirk and leapt from the building. His aim was perfect. He landed on top of the other villain. He heard the crunch of bones as the man collapsed under his weight, screaming in pain as he did. Looking into his terrified eyes, Kirishima's grin widened as he said, "Hey, didn't anyone ever tell you that it's rude to hunt on other people's hunting grounds?" The man tried to answer, but Kirishima's hand snapped out, grabbing a hold of his throat and cutting off his words. "Shh, it's okay. I'm a forgiving man." He relished the brief flash of relief that his words had brought. Giving his victims false hope was always fun. Maybe he did like to play too. "Yeah, don't worry. I'll kill you quickly." And with that, he began to squeeze with his hardened hand. He kept squeezing until he had sliced through the entire neck, not even flinching as blood spurted into his face. Good thing he had worn red today. After patting down the body for loot, Kirishima stood up and observed his work. It was his first time trying out that move. He'd had a theory and thought tonight might be a good night to try it out. It worked fairly well, though didn't exactly make for a clean kill. As he was thinking, he suddenly caught a noise. It sounded like scratching, actually. The more he listened, the more it sounded like the sound of pens scratching against paper. It was coming from behind him. Frowning, he turned around to see the person who the villain he had just killed had been following, sitting on the ground and taking notes. The sight left him speechless, and he just stood watching in perplexed silence for several moments. Finally, he grew impatient and cleared his throat loudly. Almost immediately, the feverish writing stopped, and the would-be victim's head lifted. That's when he looked into your eyes for the first time. Usually when Kirishima looked into someone's eyes, he saw fear, even a little terror. He loved that look. He was not, however, used to seeing curiosity. But that was the only word he could find to describe the way you were looking at him. Sure, there was some discomfort and sheepishness, but behind that, definitely curiosity. As the two of you continued to look at each other, Kirishima couldn't help feeling like he was being studied, examined even. After a few more minutes, he finally snapped. "What the hell are you doing?" This caused you to jump, dropping your notebook and pen onto the ground. As you scrambled to pick the items up, you said, "Sorry, it's not every day I get to see a real villain in action. I wanted to capture every moment. Makes for excellent material." Your hand was reaching for the notebook, but Kirishima got to it first. As you both straightened up, he flipped to the most recent page. You made an indignant noise, but he held up his hand and gave you a look, effectively stopping you from saying anything. Kirishima couldn't help but notice that you were actually quite attractive. Tilting his head, he asked,
"Where are you from?"
You seemed taken aback by that. Well, I'm not releasing any information about where I live." He raised his eyebrows.
"What are you doing out here? Alone?"
You shrugged. "Needed to get out, get some inspiration. I was just getting too comfortable."
Huh. So you like being uncomfortable?
That just caused you to shrug again. Shaking his head, Kirishima returned his attention to the notebook and read what you had written. When he had finished, he stood there for a while, just blinking at the page.
"Did you seriously time how long it took for me to kill him?"
You shrugged once more. "Yeah, for accuracy purposes. By the way, how long do you think that would take on someone like me?" Finally, he looked up.
"Did you want to find out?"
I mean, the curious part of me wants to say yes, but then I wouldn't be able to apply the information. I suppose I couldn't really stop you though, could I? That statement made Kirishima smirk.
"Nah, you couldn't. But you're a little fucked up, aren't you?"
You frowned at that. I mean, yeah, I'm a writer, but you're one to talk. You gestured to the body behind him. He had to concede to that.
"What's your name?"
he asked. Not sure it's a great idea to give my name to a powerful villain as well.
"Well, while I appreciate the compliment, I did just save your life. Reckon that should grant me a favor. Or two."
Kirishima smirked again, making his meaning more clear. Giving you my name as a favor? Or so he thought.
"I figured it would be more polite before going any further."
Further where? Also, did you think I didn't know that I was being tailed? I came out into the field for a reason. Getting that creep to follow me was just way too easy. Kirishima blanched. How could you be so smart and so oblivious at the same time? Might I ask why you chose such a messy way to kill? Couldn't you have just snapped his neck? Seems like that would make it easier to hide the body, or do you not like to do that? How do you keep from getting caught? He was not prepared for this stream of questioning.
I was experimenting with an idea. And snapping necks is so mainstream. And boring. Not manly at all. You do realize I could kill you too, right?
This time, you made a face. Then, what would be the point in saving me in the first place? You don't seem like the type to waste time on a kill, though if you were to kill me, how would you do it? How long do you think it would take for me to die? Kirishima scratched his head. He was losing control of this situation.
You know, that's not usually what people ask me when they want to know what I would do to them.
What do you usually do to them? Kirishima threw a palm into his face, sighing and groaning.
Oh, seriously?
He held out his arms to you, confused and yet still wondering why he is holding this conversation.
Look at me. What do you think I did?
I assume you're not referring to killing. Can you tell me about it? Could make for great material. Giving up on the situation, Kirishima just simply sighed.
How about I just show you?
He pulled out his disarming smile that usually got most people giggling, but you just seemed to continue on. Really? That would be great! I am out for more experience after all. He couldn't help but chuckle after hearing this.
Oh, I'll give you an experience, alright.
Wow. You know, for a villain, you're pretty nice. Kirishima's chuckle turned into a scowl almost immediately.
Don't insult me like that.
What? I think it's sweet that you're helping me so much. Though, have you ever considered making your kills look less, murdery?
What is it with you and taking the fun out of killing?
Well, I just think it would be fun for you to be able to mess with the police, placing fake evidence and watching them run around like idiots. Upon hearing this, Kirishima's jaw literally dropped. Thoughts ran through his mind very quickly, or as quickly as it could be in this kind of situation. Maybe you could be of use to him somehow.
How about we take this conversation over to my place?
Ooh, villain's secret lair?
It's just an apartment, don't call it that.
Aww. After that first conversation, the two of you kept in touch. Kirishima had given you his contact information and you started regularly calling him with questions. These questions would turn into whole conversations, and despite your initial obliviousness, there came a time when you started calling him for something else. You had been together ever since. Right now, you were sitting in front of your computer. Unfortunately, that was all you were doing. You had been staring at your screen for what felt like hours. At that moment, Kirishima walked in, breathing heavily.
Hey babe, I'm home.
You looked up, frowning at his disheveled appearance. Did you go for a run?
You could say that. Those cops came out of nowhere.
You rolled your eyes, returning your attention to the screen before you. Kirishima noted the lack of a reaction and the look on your face. That was a look you got when you were trying to work past a block.
Having trouble today?
You made a grunt, flailing your arm at the laptop. I'm trying to work out if this kill would actually work in the way I think it would. I mean, if it doesn't, it would change the way the whole scene goes. Kirishima walked up from behind you, leaning down until his chin was touching your shoulder. You automatically leaned your head against his as he read over what you had written.
Give me a few hours, and I'll find out.
He straightened up and turned towards the door, but you caught his hand before he could. Wait, now? But you just got home.
Yeah, but this will bother you all night.
But
What?
Kirishima smirked as you grabbed his shirt to pull him back. He accommodated you by letting you pull him down and kiss him. He laughed at the touch, but to your frustration, he pulled away.
Don't worry. There's someone I've had my eye on for a while. Won't take me too long. When I get back, I'm going to test out a few more ideas of my own. All night.
He grinned widely, his nose brushing against yours.
Fine. But you better hurry. And remember what I told you about avoiding the cops?
He waved at you dismissively before he turned to walk away.
Yeah.
Kirishima was almost out of the door, but you decided to pipe up. Actually, can I watch today? It stopped him in his tracks as he turned around with a grin on his face, staring back at you. Slowly but surely, he was falling for you.